Hello YouTubers and fishermen. I'm here to help you save some money and show you how to do a Minn Kota power control mod for those who have a power drive, and Minn Kota has discontinued this type of controller with a rounded spade. When I called the dealer, they're telling me that this controller part number 4041 is no longer available for the past 2 years, and that represents controllers that worked in the power drive model first generation up to 2007 with the autopilot. So I looked around and I couldn't find the replacement. So I also found online someone who out west in Canada who does the modification. Did a little research and come to find out that the Minn Kota power drive control module for the new V2 version is adaptable to work with the older power drive first generation legacy with the flat plug. What you need to do this modification is to go out and purchase this new controller with the new type round plug. So Minn Kota's grand plan was to discontinue this one with this plug, so that way the only option you would have is to buy this controller, and you would have to replace everything that would attach. That would include your foot pedal, and I also have the co-pilot attachment, which means that I would have to buy the new one to fit the power drive on the V2. So bear with me, this is my first video. I'm going to try to do the best I can to make this video as clear as possible. So the new controller that you would buy, here it comes with this instruction sheet, and the Minn Kota part number would be 2884057, and this is for the 12 volt V2 power drive with the autopilot. So there's the diagram. It's got to be patient, and this is adaptable. So basically you're going to get this new controller, which is about 220 Canadian dollars, available at any Minn Kota dealer, and from there you're going to need to do this modification, so that way the only thing you'll have to buy is the control board. This control board controls the steering and the up and down speeds. If you choose not to have any variable speeds, you could bypass this controller and you'll have a steady direct speed. But since I want to have variable speed, I chose to buy the controller. The controller looks like this. This is what it looks like from the top, and this works for numerous models. If you go on the Minn Kota website, you should be able to determine exactly the application. So what you need to do, I'll have to put the video on pause and walk you through it. So here are all what you need to do is you're going to have to cut this plug right here and leave it long, because this board is the one you're going to be using, and you're going to need this plug. So you're going to cut the plug at this end right here. See that? So basically what you'll be doing is color matching all these wires on this plug to match up to this plug here, and the only variance will be the plug, the white plug on this one, as you see here, the one that goes to the board, will be connected to the blue wire that is on the board here. So I will pause the video and I will show you what it'll look like once I've gotten through connecting all the plugs. So this way you won't have to go through Minn Kota's grand plan of purchasing all the components to replace your first gen Minn Kota powerdrive motor. Sorry about this. Just pause it. Unpause it. Alright. So I made the green connection wire, and I'm going to continue on. So I'm just going to pause the video, and then I'll show you all my final connections one by one. So that way you guys don't sit here and be bored out of your mind while I'm making these wire connections. Hi, Marion. I thought that I'd show you guys all the connections that I made. Like I said, this is an extra. It's not a must. This is just choose in case in the future I want to use the new version of the V2 power drive foot pedal in case my old one lets go. I still left the original plug from the V2 version control board. So as you can see, I made these connections. I met green with green. The only variance is the blue from the new board goes with the white. The yellow goes with the yellow. I cut off these spade connectors that were on the green and the yellow like they were here, and I connected them to the harness. The black goes with the black, the red goes with the red, the orange goes with the orange, and the last but not least, I'll turn it around, you see the brown goes with the brown. Alright, so that makes that connection. So as you can see now, the board is the old type plug with the new board. So now basically what you need to do is take this board back to your motor on your boat and follow the wiring diagram and start plugging and playing and installing it into the original location and position. This will be the last part. This is assembly of the controller back in where it started. So I know I don't show you the disassembly, but it's pretty straightforward on where the components go. So we're going to put all the components back where they were. So there's 2 screws on the side here. They're very simple and straightforward. I just started one. I use this as a guide, and I will get the other screw to put in. It's in the location as required. So it's pretty straightforward. So grab the 2 screws, put them in, snug them. Once done, it's mounted. The controller is now mounted in its place. So now we're going to continue with the connections. What I usually recommend for the connections is to put some dielectric grease. This will prevent any moisture and any condensation from getting to your plug. So I will go get some. Alright, so everybody, it's just a basic dielectric grease. You can buy it at any hardware or automotive supply. Just a little bit will do. Put it in each connection, so that way your connections become watertight and prevent corrosion from building and prevent any electrical issues in the future. You don't need a lot, just a smear on each connection will do. So like I said, just grab the connections, use your finger, place it in each connector, or if it's an open connector like this, a little bit of dielectric grease will work just great. I've already put the dielectric on this plug prior. As you can see, I'll put some on this plug, so I'll prevent it from getting corrosion and condensation, even though I don't think I'll be using this plug anytime soon. So that'll cap that end off and prevent it from getting any corrosion. And I'll finish off by putting the last connection here with some more dielectric grease, so packing that in and preventing corrosion. It's pretty flimsy kind of connector for open water, in my opinion, when it comes to doing any type of water fishing. So next step here will be to continue on with the connections. So, like I said, you'll grab your connections here. This is your battery feed that you've already have from your old. And if you look here, your battery, according to your diagram that they've given you with the new one, your battery side will be the ones closest to, when you're looking at the front of your boat, closest to the right side. And they're marked positive and negative. So the positive is always either red, and obviously the negative is the black. So these are your main two connections. So we'll start with those. So we've got the battery connection, and we'll put them here. I'll put a little bit more dielectric here on these 4 pins. These are your battery terminals. 1, 2, 3, and obviously 4, because 2 from the battery and 2 from going to feed the motor. It's pretty straightforward, and just a little smear on every connection will do wonders and for longevity of these type of connectors and protect them from any type of corrosion. It may be a little messy and sticky, but you know, a little prevention goes a long way. Okay, so as you can see here, you get the red is the one closest to the right hand side, which is the battery feed. So you grab this, plug that in, grab a pair of pliers so it makes it easier, and my hands are slippery. So that's in. The next one we'll do from the battery feed will be right there, and that's in. So now we're going to start with the remaining connections. So the remaining connections are pretty straightforward. Obviously, your foot pedal connection, can go here. Plug that in. That's done. That's pretty straightforward. Now, for the remaining connections, you need to start with these. So what we'll do is we can pin this down. So basically, you get this connection here. It slides into there. Alrighty. So it's gonna get a little messy right now. Now, if it's shadowing, they're not gonna be able to see my connections. That's why I said you will need light, because it's gonna get dark soon. So as you can see here, the next suggestion I have for my wiring will be pretty straightforward. We're going to get the ones that feed the motor, which are right here. Reference again my diagram. The motor positive and the motor negative. The motor positive is the one, again, on here, which is the red. So we'll put that there. I have to turn it a bit, maybe struggle a little bit. May need a pair of pliers to assist to get the plug in nice and in its location. Once you'll feel it go in once it's done. All right, so grab the other wire, which is the ground. Feed to the motor. Try to keep this as neat as possible. and easy for you guys to follow, which is not such an easy task when you have everything sitting in one location. So here's your battery and here's your motor feeds. Those are your two big wires for this application. Now we're going to start doing the remaining harness. So basically what we need to do here is we're going to plug the green with the green. So the green goes with the green. It's pretty straightforward. Can't make a mistake. See, as you can see, green goes with green. Now you're going to get this red wire. Can't make a mistake either, because there's only one more red wire, and that red wire goes to here because there's a male and female end. So you plug that in and you'll feel it click. So as you start progressing, you'll see that the wires will start diminishing. So there's two more wires here. These are the black and white on the board. So I'm gonna have to, can you pause it please? I'm gonna check these connections. So these wires here are from the volt gauge that sits on top. It's a black and red. They get connected to the two single wires that stand alone, which are also black and red. And then you connect your green, your yellow from the harness, from the harness that goes to your controller on top. I mean to your steering motor on top. They go there. This is from your steering motor. The black and white go to the harness here. All right, so you connect that. Then your brown originally was spaded, and connect that to, as you can see, to the brown wire in the harness. It's hard to see, but that's a brown wire. Connect that. Put a piece of shrink tube because you want the open end exposure connector. And we're going to use a little bit of heat, and we're going to crimp that. But before we do that, I'm going to do a little quick run test just to make sure that the motor is functional and that all my connections are good in the controller. So what I'll do first is I'll mount the harness down here, and with the screws and the mounting hardware that come with when you're mounting the original motor. So you'll have the bracket. You put the bracket down. It's very straightforward. You'll see one for the large harness. You make that, and one for the small harness. So just allocate it to the right location. And you'll see that it's actually got notches where it goes. So you see if you can make it nice and neat. Maybe a little bit of a pain in the butt to find the right location. Well, there's not much room. I'm terribly sorry, but it's hard to manipulate wires and put them in specific locations. So once you got that down, you get the screw that mounts this. Looks like that. You put it in the center hole. Finger start. And get the screwdriver. Let's see if we can get it started. not sure if I have the right screw, to be honest. I'll have to do a dry run. Yes, it is the right screw. Just stubborn to start. I'm not finding the proper location. Probably why. This is offset, so it's a lot easier to go the other way. See nothing. I'll just pause it. This is one. Okay, guys. Basically, what remains is reassemble the whole motor. I showed you all the connections. This will be the test run. So let's put this back together. A couple of screws on the side. Start them by hand. Make sure that you line them all up. Use a screwdriver to start them first. Connections. Go around now to the other side. Tighten the other two screws. All right, now we're going to test. So I've made the final connection with the fuse. And we're going to test to see after if my Pause. So, after all my hard work, as you can see, the modification has worked. Slow. I can increase the speed. So after frustration and aggravation, we have success. And as you can see, I'm still using my original Copilot with the original plug, but with the new V2 power controller modification. See? I shut it off, I turn it on, perfect. And I can increase the speed to full speed and slow. And if you pay attention to here, you can see that I can steer the motor slightly. I won't want to turn it too much because it's on the stand. See it moving? So, success. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching, and I hope I've saved you a lot of money. If you have any questions, please comment in the bottom and ask questions, and I'll do my best to reply to assist you. Thank you again.